What's up, faithful? Welcome to the East Coast Red and Gold podcast. I'm Niners Jess, along with Ty Alston, Maddie B, and Niner Lady Dina. It is Wednesday, June 18th. What's up, faithful?
What up?
Doing good. What up? What up? What up?
Is this
Life
what
is good.
summertime looks like? Is this actual like? Is this it? Is this what we're looking for?
Hey,
Okay, just checking.
warm weather.
Yeah, finally. I
Rain.
saw the sun today, and it was pretty nice. It was pretty nice to see the
Yeah.
sun,
Yeah.
considering it's been raining over here for the last, month and a half.
Truly.
Yeah, so we're a little over a month away from training camp. The rookies report July 15th. The vets report July 22nd. So we have a little bit to talk about. I mean, there's always something. But in sticking with the thumbnail, don't sleep on us. There's Renardo Green, Diamador Lenore, Isaac Orendo, and Nick Bosa. Now, for me, I think those guys are all under the radar.
Mhm.
And I don't know if it's because we were 6-11 last year or what, but I just think Renardo Green is going to have a really good year too. Diamador Lenore is now a vet, and I think he's going to be the sleeper this year. Isaac Orendo, Christian McCaffrey has to stay healthy. During the regular season, during the postseason, all through training camp. He just needs to stay healthy, and the coaches really need to put their foot down and just pretty much protect him from himself. So hopefully we see more of Isaac Orendo.
Yeah.
And as far as Nick Bosa, I think he finally has some help along the D-line. There are a lot of big heads saying, we have 3 question marks along the D-line, because the rookies are unproven. What's Bryce Huff going to do? But I think he finally has that bookend in Bryce Huff, and then Michael Williams and CJ West in the middle. So you guys, what do you guys think of those 4? And what about your own picks as the sleepers for this season?
Dina,
Dag.
Matt.
Yeah, I was waiting. I was waiting for Dina.
Yeah.
I was waiting for
See.
Dina.
Now you
I don't
guys.
want to step on anyone's toes.
No,
but
now you guys want to be gentlemen. Okay.
that privilege in this case, really more so.
I love Orendo, and every time he's on a field, it's something that I look forward to seeing. I love his physique, his moves. I love everything about the guy. I want to see more of him. I want to see more of Green, because that guy plays. I wouldn't want to meet him on a dark street. He's got some moves, and I like Green. I love Orendo. As far as a sleeper, I would have to say Lenore, because he comes up. Hey, my McNiner. He comes up out of nowhere with some stuff. And a lot of people, he does tackle well, he does move well, but a lot of people forget about him at certain times.
Mm-hmm.
And he can come out of nowhere and do something awesome. And my all-time favorite sleeper, if you will, is Jawan Jennings. Yeah, but I want to see more of Orendo, and I hope he gets the opportunity to be out there more. So that's my take, gentlemen and lady.
Yeah. Orendo's a sleeper for sure. I don't think he should be, but it's because he was just a rookie last year, didn't get a lot of run.
Yeah.
And we saw him start the season rough, I think that's just because, lack of reps, lack of opportunity. You got to learn on the job sometimes. But we saw as the season went on and he started getting those reps, he did very well. Extremely well, right? That game against Dallas, 85 yards rushing, had a couple of catches. Of course, went down at the end of the game when they were trying to do their comeback to make sure our offense wins being on the field, right? So you take out that's a heady play. He did the same thing in Seattle earlier in the year. That shows some maturity, a lot of maturity, I should say. And he has a head for winning.
Yes.
But he picked up the offense and he went on and on and on. And he made plays receiving as well. All right. That same lob pass that Brock hit Christian McCaffrey on earlier in the year, Isaac Guerrero caught the same type of pass later in the year.
Yeah.
Right. And he did some things out of the backfield, catching the ball, getting yak. So now going into year 2, having more understanding, more training, etc., he can play a lot of dividends for us. Bernardo Green is a player we saw work his way into the starting lineup. And you like that from a rookie.
Yeah.
When they just keep their head down and they just work and the coaches see it and they're like, we need to get this dude on the field. Because when we do put him out there in spots like they did, he performed well. And it was like, shoot, let's let him start. Well, he started and held down. He didn't give anything up. So definitely sleeping on him. Demo, they've been sleeping on Demo for years. like last year wasn't a fluke. He was the bomb in 2023 and 2022. He's just a player. And he fits our attitude, and especially our defensive attitude, well. When you talk about top corners in the league, it's like he's never mentioned, but yet he's locking down CD Lamb. He's locking down Tyreek Hill. They put him out there, and he just does his job. Right? And when we played the Vikings, Justin Jefferson had that long pass, but that wasn't against Demo. When Demo was on him, he had 15 yards. That's it. So you see how that goes. Nick Bosa, I think this will be a healthy year from him completely, right? Not much nicks and bruises, because I think in the beginning of the season, teams will still continue to double team him and triple team him and chip him like usual. But with all the firepower we have on the defensive line and different people coming at him, different people coming at the offense, they're going to have to quickly change up their strategy, right? That's going to free up Nick and free him up to do what he does best. So, yeah, they're not talking about him like they do the Myles Garretts and the TJ Watts and the Eric Hendricksons. I think as the season go on, they're going to be like, oh, yeah, this is why that guy was Defensive Player of the Year just a few years ago. So, I like the fact that they're under the radar and no one's talking about them, but don't sleep, because they won't be out and under the radar soon.
Right.
Go ahead, Matt.
No, I'd agree with almost everything that you guys have said, because I think this entire team is going to be under the radar this year. I think this is a huge year. I think this is a huge year for me. This is almost a contract year for Nick Bosa, because at some point he's going to have his deal redone. I know it was just done, but it really wasn't, right? And then you've got the Max Crosby thing and the Myles Garrett thing, and TJ Watt's probably going to have a deal soon. So I wouldn't be shocked if Nick Bosa gets a new deal probably next offseason, right? But to do that, he's going to have some sort of positive upswingish sort of year, right? And it can't just be yes, I get it, he's going to get a lot of triple teams and chips or whatever, but sort of those guys that I mentioned, and they still have numbers, right? And some of them are on much more dysfunctional teams than the San Francisco 49ers. So at some point you've got to bring home your own bacon. Yeah, the pig isn't just gonna take care of it themselves.
It's not going to roast itself, right?
Right. Yeah. Pig's not gonna be like, can someone find me an apple? Like it doesn't do that, right?
Yeah.
So Garendo, I would love, again, I would love to, in a perfect world, continue to be optimistic, but I absolutely do not trust that they're going to take CMC out the field. I think there's going to be a little bit more lean in to maybe 2 tight ends with a use check on the field this year as well. I think things are going to be a little run heavier this year, which in theory would mean more Isaac Garendo, but
Right.
you know, like we again saw that usage last year, like, and we saw the usage that Jordan Mason went through, right? Like,
exactly. It was the same thing.
It was 0 to 60 with Jordan Mason, and then 60 to -4, right?
Yep.
Like he was like, oh, okay, you get that 1 carry a game, or you get that 1 or 2 snaps a game, and if you don't get your number called, you know, thank you so much. You know, for me, Jacob Cowing is a guy this year that is really going to have to. Demarcus Robinson is going to miss first 4 games, 6 games, whatever, no matter what. Okay. So that's already in effect. Brandon Ayuk's probably going to miss first 4 to 6 games, no matter what. Right. So there's going to be some opportunity for guys that maybe there may not have been room for the roster. Could be him. It could be Watkins. It could be the kid that they Junior
Bergen.
Junior Bergen, the punt returner. Huge raise for him. And if anyone read that article in The Athletic here today in regards to the 49ers special teams, the 49ers are actually looking to get this, guys. I've never heard this before, so I was just floored by it. They're looking to actually have an impact on special teams this year, not just quote, let's not screw it up, right? Like let's just be there and like do whatever. They did let Boyer like pick guys, like he had some picks, he got to pick free agents, like I really like what they do. Like they really hire these coaches to come in and honest to God be subcontractors, right? And they're bringing in their own crews, you know what I mean? And they're building a great big house. And that's what they did. Like they got Jordan Pinnock and they got him. I honestly think I don't necessarily want to put a player on there. I want to put Boyer on there because if this special teams is impactful like he says it's going to be, that's going to turn the tide. And then when you also look at the fact that, and yes, you know, I get it. Even if it turns it once, Ty, it's better than the -40 times since, like, I don't know, the Green Bay game, right? Like, geesh, like they just, it's been a long time since that Tony Montana sideline swag. You know what I mean? But it's been a hot minute for that. So it would be good to see that and see that there. And another guy that I'm really looking at is CJ West. That is a guy that I think is going to do some things. Don't know why. Vibe I get. Just
I was actually waiting for more of an explanation, and
it's just a vibe. Like at the end of the day, with a lot of these defense, like if John Lynch is excited about a guy, like John Lynch has this really great way, and I'm sure we've all listened to the podcast. John Lynch has this really great way of like being unbelievably positive, but leveling his layers of positivity so that you can tell like where people actually stand, right? You know, when he says things like, "It's a big off season for insert player name here who's on the cut," right? Like where it's Darrell Rooter or somebody like that, right? Like he has a way of saying that, and he has that same stuff every single year with those guys. But he was huge into CJ West, and he has been like waxing poetic. So if they've got their like Vita Vea type that they found, you know, at the yard sale or, you know, whatever, you know what I mean? Just that late round, like, whoa,
I know what you mean.
Awesome. You know what I mean? Doesn't have to be necessarily that comp. Like, you know, that's how the last Super Bowl run was built, right? It was with a guy named Dana Stubblefield one year and then a guy by the name of Bryant Young the next.
Bryant Young, Yep.
And they both created havoc and destruction up the middle, and then everything was built around them, which is something that everybody forgets. Everybody's like, oh, they got Deion Sanders. Deion Sanders didn't get there until week 3. There was There were some other things that needed to be done first, and there was a whole other revamping on that. But yeah, they're doing things the right way per history, right? So I'm excited about all of it. So sleeper wise, that would be the guys I would be looking at outside of the same guys you had, because just worth that.
Yeah. So as far as the D line goes, I mean, I have mentioned before that, people are pretty much ruling them out already. What do you guys say to that?
Well, I mean, it's July, it's June, right? That's the first thing I say. Like, people really don't pay attention to the schedule as much as they should. Like, they really don't understand that the Rams have got a schedule this year, right? Even though they're also facing the AFC South and whatever, like they're facing all these, they're facing those number one teams basically everywhere, and they're going to have some primetime games and everything else, because division winner make it to the division around the playoffs last year. They were the only real challenge for Philadelphia throughout the playoffs last year, so they're going to get some stuff this year unless they really struggle and fall off. The 49ers don't really have that. This schedule is really set up well for them to work out the kinks and get better. As long as they're not playing outside in monsoons the first few weeks of the season, or snow, I feel strongly that they're going to be able to kind of work their stuff out. And the cool part is there's a lot of continuity, right? And we all saw this last year. The biggest problem with this team, the real big problem with this team, which Ty kept telling us all last year, and we finally believed him eventually, everybody, was that the offense just couldn't score touchdowns, right? Like, just the fundamental problem of they do this offense literally does everything but score touchdowns. Everything. Yardage, they really didn't fall off that much. They really weren't that bad with turnovers last year in comparison to the other part of the league. They had injuries and they couldn't score, right? Now, whether the injuries led to the not scoring or whether the not scoring led to the not score, I don't care, right? That's what it is. If they can turn those frowns upside down just half the time this year, right? That's a huge improvement. If the defense turns some things around this year, that's a huge improvement. And then you've got the special teams actually, trying to show up this year, wanting to help. That is just the perfect storm to do things. So I don't know how anybody can count anybody out in June, but it's June and people are looking for things to talk about, I guess.
Exactly.
What do they want for this defensive line? Unless they were going out to get Myles Garrett, but how are you going to get Myles Garrett and fill out the rest of the roster? Come on, guys, let's use our brains here just a little bit.
Yeah, after the draft, it was, oh my God, this D line's going to be awesome. And now we're in June and it's like, well, we have question marks along the defensive line.
Yeah. They got to talk about something, right? And it doesn't matter how rebuilt it is, how you got Robert Saleh back, how, the scheme's going to be better, the coaching's going to be better, everything's going to be better. You just got to question it.
Yeah.
You have to question it, right? And I understand you drafted 3 rookies. You got an Evan Anderson coming in his second year. He's undrafted. The guys that are behind them are, normally rotational guys. No hardcore solid starter out there. But when you look at all that as a collective, and the guy I mentioned running the show, Mr. Saleh, you got to think, he's going to have them cooking because he's been here before. He's done it before, right? And you still have that pillar of Nick Bosa out there. You can't just ignore him. So I don't know where the question marks come from, but like Matt said, it's June. Gotta have something to talk about. You got to do something.
It's June.
You're going to be here questions about Brock Purdy in a minute.
What was it? That Bonnie Raitt song, something to talk
That's
about.
I was done. That was going to lead into that, Maddie. I was going to lead into that. Don't do that.
Weird Al should come out of retirement and should just make something to yap about, because that's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's just full yap. It's a yap session. Right. Like, oh well, we got to be worried. The wide receiver room's thin. The tight end room's thin.
It already started with that. Yep.
I mean, the depth is thin behind the starters for everybody in the league, right? Like, it's possible that the depth here isn't the case, but you also might be looking at a chance that, there's 5 rookies starting on the defense too, right? And that's honestly something, frankly, I hope happens. I want rookies to start. If they have 5 rookies starting on the defense, that means they had one hell of a draft.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, for this team doesn't just willy-nilly throw the rookies out there week 1. Let's go, right? Oh, don't know what's going on? Who cares? Figure it out. You know what I mean? Like, if they don't figure out the Ovaltine Dakota ring, sometimes they don't get to play. So, if that happens, we should also be excited.
Well, check it out. Last year, we had 3 rookies. Ultimately, at the end of the season, we ended off with 3 rookies starting on defense.
Correct.
You had Evan Anderson out there, Renardo Green, and Malik Mustafa.
Right.
Who we're all like high on now. Right?
Yeah.
We're looking at them going into year 2 like, man, this should be a good year for them.
Correct.
Hey, Don.
So, like, having rookies out there is not a bad thing.
No.
Nope. There's some question marks. No kidding. That's what rookies are. Rookies are question marks.
Exactly.
Thank you so much for your
lightning
deep insight.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like, I'm not going to sing the song, although I was until Maddie stole it from me. Let's give him something to talk about.
Yeah. She sings it anyways. Right.
A little mystery to figure out.
That wasn't going to stop her.
No,
I knew.
I'm a Bonnie Raitt fan. Okay.
There you go.
But yeah, it's like we're gonna have these questions. There's gonna be question marks all over our heads, and like you guys were saying, it's June. It's expected. I'm not paying attention to most of the noise until we get to around August. Because it changes so much, and we start off like you said, Jess. We start off. Oh, this draft was great. Oh, we got these guys. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. And now it's just like, Well, of course you're going to have question marks. Of course you're going to be wondering what they're about. We haven't seen their potential, all of their potential yet. We just saw some OTAs and a couple of reps in practice. We haven't seen them yet. So it's like, let's shut up already. And wait, as I always say, expect the unexpected.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wait a minute. I got to say this. Bebop, my love. Hi, sweetie. I love you. But yeah, we got to expect the unexpected right now. We're still in that transition. Like, well, who is he? What is he? What is he going to do out there? What are they going to do out there? We don't know. It's still early.
Yeah.
My thing is, Bebop, we have to expect the unexpected for now and just float in transition until August, till things really kick in. And every day there's going to be something about the 49ers. I'm tired of hearing, oh, the door's about to shut down on them. I think the door's about to shut down. If they don't make it this year, their Super Bowl aspirations are done. They're not even going to make the playoffs. They have too many rookies. What was the one I heard? The veterans are veterans and can't lead. It's like,
that's interesting.
What the hell? Seriously? So yeah, it's like, go away. I don't want to hear that.
Exactly.
And a friend of mine sent me, he just now sent this to me about our friend Brandon. sends a clear message to San Francisco 49ers as Kansas City Chiefs eye him for $23 million shift to help out Patrick Mahomes. It's still early. We don't know what's going to happen. So let's just wait and see and enjoy the ride and see what happens. I don't, all this yak, like the Pac-Man thing going around. It doesn't mean anything right now. People just want to have something to say, something to talk about. And therein my take.
Well, you know what? That was the perfect segue to the Super Bowl window because George Kittle was on the Rich Eisen show and they talked about it. And let's take a look as to what George Kittle had to say.
You believe that? You really are. I mean, nobody's talking about you because I think everybody.
I love it.
Everybody thinks your window's closed, George. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie.
Thing about Windows is you can just throw a chair through it and break it open. For all I give a shit about.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Just grab a chair, throw it through there. We're just gonna rebuild it. Yeah, we'll make a new window, cut it out.
Okay,
that works for me.
All
yeah,
right.
Doors, windows, I don't care. Kick them in, baby.
Yeah, I know.
So, what are your thoughts, guys?
Exactly.
I agree with him.
Isn't that what we want him to say?
Exactly.
Like, that's the attitude
I
want one of the pillars to say.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That is exactly it. That's
case of emergency, break glass.
Like I always refer to George Kittle, as a leader. And that's what you want your leaders to say. That's the type of attitude you want them to have so it resonates throughout the team.
Right.
Like forget the outside noise. Forget what you heard. What are you going to kick the damn thing open? You want to throw a chair through it.
Right.
Like
either way, we're getting out of here.
You can say what you want, and we're under the radar and whatever, but we know who we are, and we're coming.
Right.
But it's simple as that.
Yeah, I mean, and part of that too was, like Rich was saying that there's really nothing to talk about with the Niners. Like there's no drama, there's no, so and it was actually, if you didn't catch like the full show, like go and watch it because it was actually entertaining. It was just like a whole lot of like, pot stirring and sorry, I was reading one of Steve-O's comments. Still calling me Tess.
It's little.
Yeah. So I found this. It was from Chase Senior's Instagram. PFF named Nick Bosa the 4th best edge defender in the NFL going into 2025. Any guesses who the first 3 are before him?
Crosby,
Stills and Nash.
Exactly.
And Young.
Crosby, Watt, and the dude from Cleveland.
Miles
He's on a
Garrett.
blank. Miles Garrett.
1 is Miles Garrett.
Okay.
2 is Micah Parsons.
Oh, I totally forget about him. Dallas.
3 is TJ Watt.
Okay.
Oh,
And then 4 is Nick Bosa.
Okay.
I'm really surprised by the Micah Parsons to me really isn't a defensive end.
Me either.
Yeah.
He's a I don't really I
He's
never
an
really
outside linebacker.
Yeah,
He's a 3-4 outside linebacker.
I never could like he's like Lawrence Taylor, Derek Thomas, Charles Haley, Willie McGinnis. He plays the elephant position, really. And then he also has the ability to flex himself around.
Yeah.
So like those are the things that happen. I don't understand like why he's in that list, but okay, I guess. Like if he's going by pass rushers, sure, but like to me, I just
that's why I think they're just doing it by pass rushing because it can't play to run to save his life.
Yeah.
We saw what happened when we played him. We just ran right at him. Like, where's 11? Oh, run left. Wasn't even trying to hide it. Where's
Yeah.
11? Oh, we're gonna run right at him.
Yeah.
Like, and that's what a lot of teams do. They don't even try to hide it. So that list has to be definitely just on pass rushing. And like Matt, I'm total agreement. He's not a DN. He's just like situational pass rusher who's on the field all the time, if you will.
Yeah. It's just there.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly what Sin said. He's not better than Nick Bosa, right?
No.
But Micah Parsons' deal is going to want Nick Bosa want more money.
Nick Bosa plus money. Yeah.
Right. So that's another thing that's going to move that chart up a little bit, which I totally forgot about. I wasn't even thinking about that one. I mean, someday Jerry will pay him, allegedly. So, unless he gets hurt, in which case Jerry will be like, see how smart I am? I'm Jerry. Yeah.
Jerry.
Well, did you see? Speaking of Micah Parsons, did you see how he taped his conversation? He videoed his conversation with Schottenheimer about his contract.
Yeah, that is some.
I didn't see that.
That's some.
Wow,
I don't know, man. That's some.
So when people think about BA and like his antics and stuff, like think of Micah Parsons.
Yeah, I mean, and then he puts it on his podcast, which is
of course
mind-numbing to me.
Because that's more important to him than other stuff.
Right. If you win a title, you can have a podcast. If you don't win a title, you cannot have a podcast until you retire. That's it. I don't make the rules. That's just how society works on them, right? Like, so this is the set that's been done, right? Like, so go win your title and then do your podcast. Don't start doing your podcast now. Like, I don't get that. I don't understand that way of thinking, because it's like you're leaving yourself open for just people be like, oh, you're going to motivate people. Yeah, you are going to motivate people. You are going to motivate people.
And motivate me to turn the channel.
Sports half the time is based off of just like egos and ego management and getting those egos to fucking, pardon my French, pop up at absolutely any moment, right? So when you do something like that and you say something on a podcast about how, somebody's, dumb, but you don't say it as though they're dumb, right? You say it like real passive aggressively, like you're going to piss some people off and you're going to give them a little extra motivation. When you give professionals a little extra motivation, you're probably going to get your ass kicked that week. Yep. And it leaves it too open to things, right? There's a lot of things that I agree with that the modern player does that I don't agree with, but I also understand that they have to protect themselves because they themselves are an investment. They are their family's future. So, however they feel like they need to do that sometimes, I guess that's how that goes. I don't have to agree with it, but I also can't argue with the results for most of them. So, whatever. That's how we are. So,
yeah.
So what positions do you think will have the most competition?
Not quarterback.
I don't know. We got some.
I don't know. A lot of people are really pushing for Mac Jones.
Okay, well,
Tanner Mordecai still out there. Good old Tanner.
Here in reality land.
Yeah. Did you hear Mordecai throws a better ball than Brock Purdy?
Oh yeah, Tanner. I'm sure. Yes. Steve DeBerg had a better arm than Joe Montana too. So just as a quick heads up for everybody.
Arm than Joe Montana.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah. So let's just all take
with the rod through his finger.
Let's take a deep inhale of some sort of indica-based thing and relax for just a minute, okay? And just actually use some common sense, right? Like, wow. Wide receiver is one that's going to have a ton of competition because it already has I'm sorry.
Go ahead. You're right. You're spot on.
It has an obvious deficiency, right from the top, and you're going to have 4 games for guys to go in and make their cases. Like, is Jawan Jennings going to be the hungry hippo who gets all the targets one week? Does Pearsall get them the next week? Although he might hurt his hamstring playing golf. I don't know. It's weird how his hamstring.
We'll get started on that.
It's so weird to me that he can't be at OTAs, but he can golf. maybe. I don't know.
Or
No,
remember they said they
Bebop. We
could have
should not get
practiced.
Amari
But they want
Cooper.
to hold him out.
We should not get Amari Cooper, Bebop, because like he was pretty washed last year. Like Buffalo, you know that song "I Need a Hero." Buffalo
yeah.
needed a hero wide receiver last year.
I
Yeah, exactly. And Amari Cooper, any other time, could have been that guy, and he just
Mhm.
could not. So I just don't think he has it anymore. So
We got a duet going on up there.
yeah.
I need a hero.
Yeah, you're better off trying one of the young guys, frankly.
Yeah. Let me second that, because everything you said, we've seen Amari going gets tough. He can get the quitting. That we already went through that. We ain't going through that again. And two, man, we got a lot of young guys with high potential. We see the direction that Kyle wants to take this receiving core in. Guys who are with speed, great route running. And Amari does good route runner, good hands, but that speed element to be able to, attack the entire field quickly is something I think he really wants to tap into. And we shouldn't draw away from their development.
Yeah.
You can't take away from them at all, especially since we need these guys to accelerate their learning curve quickly as we're throwing chairs through windows. So, like, man, let's not do that. And remember, our whole MO for this season is not to go out and bring in aging veterans who have had a down year the year prior so we could get them cheap and hopefully they help us out. We're not doing that anymore. We're focusing on youth and focusing on our future.
Dina, what do you think? Oh, go ahead, Ty.
No, I was going to say another position of competition. I'm going to say center. I still think that's wide open. I know Kyle said,
Why are you taking my stuff, man?
I'm just following Matt's lead. Blame him. He started.
That's what we do here.
That's what we do. Exactly. So, welcome to the show.
That's why I like to let people go first, because I'm afraid I'm going to take their stuff, because that's what happens, right?
Yeah, but I know Kyle said, Jake's the guy and he believes in Jake and all that stuff. But I still think it's wide open. We got guys there who can play center, who could fill in, and we know how camp is. They rotate those guys in there. And if you see a guy, all of a sudden he's dominating, moving, and all of a sudden Brock's happy with him, guess what? It could be bye-bye, Jake. Hello, new guy.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I'm thinking that's in there. That's center is definitely one of those positions that'll be a battle.
I think a lot along the offensive line, with the exception of left tackle and right guard, there's going to be competition.
Yeah.
And, people may say, Colton McKivitt's definitely going to be at right tackle. I don't know about that. I don't know about Jake Brendel being center. Maybe Ben Barch at left guard. I don't know. It'll be interesting. Dina, what do you think?
Again, well, I agree with you on that one. Center position and special teams. I think there's going to be a lot of competition with special teams, as it should be. And just to throw it out there, the D-line, especially on the outside. I think there's going to be some fierce competition for that. Special teams and D-line and that center position. Because it's crucial. It's really crucial. And we can't go back on what we did last time. You gotta give some guys some reps. You gotta see what they're about and see if they can hold that line. So that's what I think.
Maddie,
After Maddie.
I did. I talked about the wide receivers, but I would agree with
right.
You went first. I mean, you stole from me. I stole from Dina.
Yes,
We
that's
stole
right.
from
That's
everybody.
right.
Yeah.
It's Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome, Jess, for special teams, though. Just to follow up what they did, right? Like, it is literally like, best of the best. Like, good luck.
Yeah.
Strong. Only the strong shall survive. Is what I'm thinking.
Special teams camp will be held in Bartertown this year.
They gutted everything. They went through. They completely changed everything. The long snapper, the punter. They may change the kicker, and if they don't change the kicker, they've got the guy right there, and they know who to call. They know which Ghostbuster to call if the original one doesn't make it. So, like,
Right.
it's that's going to be a heavy competition place this year. And Jordan Pinnock may start the season at safety. Very high possibility that could happen because of all the stuff that's going on in that whole
we got injuries.
Shindig place.
If we didn't have injuries at safety, I would have said safety.
Right.
But because, like, are these guys going to come into camp healthy? There's hope right now, but they got like injury. They don't got just like a little hamstring tweak. They have real injuries.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, how much competition can you have if a guy isn't there?
Right.
So, but yeah, if they were all healthy, I'd be like, oh, safety for sure. There'll be something.
Maddie's combining Jordan Watkins with Jason Pinnock. Jordan Pinnock.
Jordan Pinnock.
Jordan Pinnock.
Good name. Good name.
I love it. They got together and they were related, I guess. I hope Pinnock has a cousin named Jordan or something.
He does now.
Really? So, Maddie, you mentioned special teams, right? You don't think Jake Moody's going to turn over a new leaf, having a new holder?
I hope to God he's found a sports psychologist. That's the article I want to read.
Yeah.
That's the Mike Silver article, the Tim Kawakami article, the David Lombardi article. I don't give a rat's ass who writes an article. I would like that to make the rounds of 49er media, that he talked to a sports psychologist this offseason, or he met with an exorcist, or he hung out with Steve Sageman Madon and burned sage all around Levi Stadium. I don't give a rat's ass, but he absolutely has to do something, anything,
a
to
little
get to the
something,
next level.
something.
Because that man his right foot was actually blessed by God himself, right? Like, he can kick that thing from probably 70 yards like Beckham, and without even a shadow of a doubt. The problem is, if you do it in any sort of pressure situation, then he does it like Victoria Beckham, and that's what makes it not work right. Because I just feel like I feel like she doesn't have the leg she probably used to, right? She probably doesn't have the distance. Probably from up close, good, but I don't think she can hit it from deep. So that wasn't a knock on her, you know what I mean? That was just, just how it goes. But with Joseph there, like, he's stable. He knows the special teams coach. Like, he's just a vet. He's been through all the ups and downs. And, the thing that we've talked about, like, it really doesn't matter what they do in practice. It really matters, like, what they're going to do when it's windy on a Sunday afternoon at Levi's, because the winds there are friggin' weird. So, yeah, I know everybody likes to talk about the Candlestick winds and the Candlestick weather, and Candlestick had its own weather system and ecosystem. I believe it had its own monster. I'm not sure. Probably did. Yeah. I'm sure it was
something in that too.
I'm sure there were all sorts of things back there. Probably aliens hidden under deeper floors. I'm not really sure. But I know Levi's is breezy as hell every single month. Every single game. It doesn't matter if it's sunny and dry. It doesn't matter if it's like wet and cold. It is always windy. There is never a game that I have been there where I'm like, wow, no wind today. No, there is always wind there. And then it changes throughout the game. So you need a kicker that knows what they're doing. So whether that's Greg Joseph, whether that's Jake Moody, I don't give a rat's ass. May the best man win.
Yeah, we said last week that they should definitely practice inside Levi's.
Yes.
All the time.
Yes.
Like I don't all the time. Yes. Like from here on out, like forget about the practice field. Just go into Levi's practice.
I wish I could go to a practice sometime, like, and I would just like to, what I would like to do, or like, honestly, What if they took leaf blowers and just ran them underneath the field goal posts so that when the kickers are trying to
create something, right?
create something, right? Like
Yeah.
reenact
Yeah.
it. Like
A
those
tunnel of wind.
And let me tell
Right.
you, those freaking lawnmower blower things, like they're used for a lot of things. They're used to blow off the yard markers, right, on
Right.
snowy days. Like they're used to get
Propagate.
extra moisture off the grass too. Like they're used for a bunch of different things. So to me, you
Yeah,
can absolutely get 2 or 3 guys underneath the field goal post just blowing those things straight up in the air. I think that would be like, there's got to be some sort of benefit to that, right? Like it has to be better than absolutely nothing, because that's not helping at all, clearly.
That's what they try to do with the music. At practice.
Right.
I like the practice.
Exactly.
Boyer actually is slowing down the music because, quote, I can't put in special teams plays if they're listening to something over me. Once everything's in, I'm cool with putting the music back in. But until then, when special teams is on the field, there's no music on the field right now. I like that approach.
Yeah.
Oh, he is doing that.
Yeah, you can listen to Kendrick and Lamar later, okay? Or you can have Trent grab the boombox. I don't give a rat's ass.
Yeah.
Like, get your shit right, and then you can figure it out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right. Tina, what do you think about special teams? Jake Moody.
Like I said, they need intervention.
Spiritual intervention, any sort of intervention.
Okay, yeah. Go to mass before you practice. Do something.
Anything.
Because I'm getting really sick and tired of having to take my hat and go like this when he kicks. Yeah, they need practice, and to your point, Maddie, yes, I agree with you. They need to be in the stadium. I mean, if anything, all of them need to be in a stadium. Special teams needs to get their act together. And I'm hoping that the competition is fierce. I'm hoping that it comes out where, like I said, the best man win. And that they can kick in the wind or any type of weather. Because where they're going, where the team is going this year, there's going to be a lot of weather factors. So I want to see somebody that can make a 40-yarder. Just because he did 70 in practice, I want to see 40 in reality at the game. Other than that, I'm good. As long as they have some divine intervention.
Dallas is going to make the playoffs, so you can't just count on getting an indoor game in the playoffs this year. Also, there's no way they're going to finish with a higher record than us. So, that's also a thing. So,
They're looking at third in their division. They got problems. Anyway,
it's not a show if you can't take a shot at the Cowboys. Like, and we've taken like 3 or 4. Like once I get up to my handful, like I feel good, and I feel good on to the next week, and it fulfills me.
Yeah, special teams. The offseason started with special teams. We saw how serious they were taking special teams and getting special teams right.
Yeah.
The first thing they addressed, special teams.
Special teams.
Right. Shows that they were making a commitment to it.
Mm-hmm.
They held out for their coach, and they got a guy that we all have good vibes with, have good feelings with. From everything you read, he's the dude. He's like the Robert Saleh of defenses, right? He's that good. So, and he takes it seriously, and that's what you want.
Super seriously.
Yeah.
Yes.
And, and I've said this before, he has had recent success at it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like Brian Schneider, who was there and he was good 8 years ago and still living off of that reputation from 8 years ago.
The Ernie Zampese corollary.
Yeah, that's what got him the job here. Like, no. So we got a guy, recent success, see how serious they're taking it. The first free agents they address, all special teamers. They're letting Brant go out, get his guys. Hey, Who do you need? Identify them. We'll go get them. That's what they're doing. Right. They're taking this seriously.
Mm-hmm.
See, he's like, oh, Mitch has a bad back. Can't trust this. Let's go. Long snapper. You know what? I got a guy. He fits what I like to do. A little better. And let's go get him.
Yeah.
And team had no hesitation cutting ties with the guys they know and going to get these guys. So you see how serious they're taking it. So we're going. It's trending up already.
Oh, yeah.
Kicker will be fine. Whether it's Jake or someone else will be fine. And I always say, everybody bashes Jake, but you should be bashing the coaches who put him on the field injured. Let's hold them accountable. If Brock hurt his shoulder and Kyle says, go out there and throw 60 yards, we can't blame Brock for that. But a guy who needs to kick is thrown out on the field by the coach who's trying to save his ass. And we don't look at that coach and go, you messed up and you're messing this kid up. But all we do is point the finger at the kid. That's messed up. Now, pre-injury, Jake was great. Let's not forget week 1 when we couldn't score touchdowns. We only had 2. Jake bailed us out with 6 field goals. No one wants to talk about that. Or in the fact in the Super Bowl, he was perfect. When once again, we weren't scoring touchdowns, shooting ourselves in the foot.
Mm-hmm.
All they look at is post-injury. Let's take a breath. And we got to give kudos to Jake for change. We all want these players to work on their craft and come back better. He's done that. There's all the talk about his new kicking approach and blah, blah, blah. But it's not sacrificing strength. It's more accurate, etc. You should be praising that. But instead, everyone wants to bash him. That's messed up. But I don't want to make it all about him, whether it's him or someone else, because we have that guy at the top of the food chain, that coach there, who's getting this right. And we see that John and Kyle, everyone else wants to take getting special teams right. It's going to be good.
Yes.
I don't think we have to worry about these things. The biggest thing is kick coverage. That was no matter who was out there all year long, coverage was just bad.
Awful.
Mm-hmm.
Terrible.
Oh wow, they're gonna run it back. Oh no, that was the vibe they put out on every single play, right?
Mitch gets a punt, 4.5 hang time, perfect. That's what you want. They're returning the punt for 30 yards. What? That's unheard of.
And then there's usually a 10 to 15 yard penalty because somebody tried to run down the sidelines to make the tackle, which they usually frown upon.
Unreal.
Or something.
Rob D said it's about Jake Moody's consistency.
Which, yeah, I mean, that'll also come with the health as well. So hopefully he gets to that point.
Look at him pre-injury. He was consistent.
Yep.
I think that. Go ahead.
I was going to say that Ernie Zampese thing I made earlier. Like Zampese used to coach for the Chargers back in the day, and everybody's like, "Oh, he's a great offensive coordinator." Terrible. Okay, he was not good. And they're like, "Oh, well, he won a Super Bowl with the Cowboys." Like, honest, anyone could have been an offensive coordinator for the Cowboys and won a Super Bowl at some point during that time frame. And they did in 1995. Like, and it literally took Neil O'Donnell gifting them 2 interceptions to do so. But yes, Ernie Zampese was a genius. Yeah, he was the guy behind Eric Coryell. But Brian Schneider put off those vibes to me, right? Like he had one good special teams scenario. Oh, he must know what he's doing. No, he got lucky one year, right? Like now with all the data, let's shake the 8 ball. Probably, right? Like was he lucky? Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
That's where we're at.
It's like, okay.
Papa J, I've seen that, long snapper delivery. The holder was bad. Who, once again, Brian Schneider picked this guy to be his punter because of how well he held the ball on kicks.
Mm-hmm.
Yet, if you do the research, I wish I took screenshots of this stuff. There's veterans like Jay Feely and other kickers who were in this league a long time looking at this going, that hold sucks. He's leaning it to the left. He's leaning it to the right. The laces aren't out. I know you people don't believe this, but all that stuff affects a kick. This is them saying that.
Details. Everything
It's
has to be
the
perfect.
small details. Yes, it's the once again, it's the operation of the kick. You hear that all the time. The operation of the special teams. These little things were off, and it affects stuff. So once again, this coach picked this guy to do this thing, and he's failing at it. We ain't talking about him. Man, I'm glad
he hired the wrong subcontractor for his bathroom. Is really what right? That's really what he did. Basically what he did.
Pretty much.
He hired a guy that was good at concrete instead of a plumber. Is really what happened in that scenario.
Yeah, every time I hear laces out, I always think of Ace Ventura.
Ace Ventura,
absolutely.
Absolutely, 1,000%.
Before we get out of here, I just want to say that I think this team is going to be different this year. I think in a good way. Just by everything that we've talked about tonight, just, Brant Boyer picking his guys, Robert Saleh picking his guys, and just everyone seemingly being on the same page. One last thing before we go. What do you guys think of Jair Alexander going to the Ravens for a year?
Yawn. Will he play more than 6 games? Let me ask Magic 8 Ball. Not likely. Thank you. Back to you.
Dina, what do you think?
Hey, I'm happy for him if that's where he has to be. But it's like, what are you going to do now? What are you going to do now that you didn't do then?
Play a
same
full
stuff.
Season?
It's like, come on. It's like,
yes.
It's like next.
We've seen this movie before. Guys go, I'm going to go link up with my former college buddy, and we're going to play a season together, and it's going to be awesome. And then
Stella's going to get his groove back.
Yeah, exactly. it's all this good stuff, and then they don't make the playoffs.
Right. It's
or like they win one playoff game, and it's like, oh, what a disappointing. I don't think it moves the needle. I think they still got issues. Like they still can't get over that hump. So until that happens, like
I'm not even paying attention to that.
Right.
It's like, okay. Hope you're happy. Take care. Bye.
That's not I don't think that fits into the violence vibe. Right. That's just my honest assessment of it. Jair Alexander doesn't scream violence to me, right?
Yeah.
Like,
agreed.
That's not. I don't think he would have fit here anyway. I think he would have spent more time in the training room than anything else, and I believe he's played an entirely full season once in his career. So if he gets it together for the Ravens, well, he wouldn't be the first guy to just get it together for the Ravens. Okay, so we'll say that.
Yeah.
Doesn't necessarily put them over the hump, but if they don't get into a Super Bowl pretty soon, people are going to start asking some questions, and they're probably going to start blaming Lamar, which doesn't really make a lot of sense, but here we are.
Yeah.
If you are looking for customized Niners gear, go over to faithfulgear209.com and tell Robert that we sent you. Again, it's faithfulgear209.com. And let's go to that 2-minute warning. Go ahead, Dina.
Okay. I am looking again for an exciting season. I am looking forward to training camp and hearing more and seeing more. And then I make my assessment from there, and let's go team.
Yeah, Maddie.
Opening day ticks are gone. The rest of them are available. $200 per ticket, $400 total. It includes your non-alcoholic beverages and your food off the member inclusive menu as well. NinersWO.com. Get your tickets now so that fans of
I got to talk to you more about that.
Get that. Yeah, we got to make that happen. We got to get that done.
Yeah. Hey, don't forget, everything you hear from inside the building is that the vibes are high. The players are feeling good. I think, last year there was a lot of mental anguish that went on just because of all the things that were happening around the team. And I think that has washed away. And the team's in a much better place, just mentally. So just looking at that should give you a positive outlook. That's right. I was on that clock today, buddy. Boom.
Yeah, no, today I was on it.
Take
You didn't
that.
have to search for it today.
So yeah, ignore the outside noise. Stick with the positive vibes. Go Niners.
Shout out to everybody in the chat. As always, you guys are great. Again, get your faithful gear at faithfulgear209.com. We will see you next week. Don't pay attention to the outside noise. This isn't the vibes that are in the building. This isn't a 6-11 team. We're going places this year. All right. We'll see you next week. Go Niners.
See ya.
And of course, for the upstart 49ers, they're 6 yards away from Pontiac. 3rd and 3.
We'll see a pickup sometime on the right side, possibly.
Montana looking, throwing in the end zone.